Hello, everyone, and welcome to Squirro's AI Week. Thank you so much for attending. We have an excellent presentation for the audience today. With that being said, we have one of our star-studded Lighthouse account speakers, Squirro Ahumada, who is the VP of Americas at Armacell. We'll be discussing the path from POC to success. It has been an honor and privilege working with Armacell, and we look forward to the engagements going forward.
Thank you, Con.
Yes, thank you, Squirro. And before we get into the nitty-gritty and Squirro's insight, I just want to refresh the audience and to give a quick introduction of Squirro and walk through a couple of quick demos that resonate well with Armacell. But first, why Squirro and what is Squirro? In this situation with Armacell, we are enhancing their Salesforce data. So we are taking visiting reports and emails and coming up with actionable insights. So if you think of Salesforce, Salesforce is the world's smartest CRM. But at the same time, that CRM has massive amounts of data that can be classified as systems of record. Our goal at Squirro is to take that historical data, those systems of record, and translate it into system of insights. So with that said, I want to walk through a couple of demos, and then we'll pass it over to Squirro. Okay, so here's Squirro Champagne. I use this for my own sake. So this tool has helped me, especially with Armacell, take Armacell from a prospect into a customer. So I'll walk you through the journey in this quick little Squirro Champagne. This is our call notes being analyzed. So for example, if I wanted to take a deeper dive into Armacell, I can just type in Armacell. You can also see a smarter search capability. This is called Type Ahead. I can just click on Armacell. And first I can see the activity levels. So in this situation in 2019, there wasn't a lot of activity. However, in 2020, it really picked up and you can understand the activity level. So the more active you are with the customer, the better most of the time. And in this situation, we can really understand a visible layout of what's happening real time with Armacell and identify the trends. So if I want to take a deeper dive into the Armacell account, I can just click this button here. And first I could see the most significant terms that occurred in the call notes about Armacell in Squirro Salesforce. So for example, usually the bigger the word, the more frequent it is. So if I want to take a deeper dive into projects, I can automatically real time understand this is a Salesforce project. So a Squirro account manager can come in and be like, okay, this is a Salesforce engagement with Armacell within seconds. So this speeds up research time drastically. Another awesome feature here is to really identify the interactions. So for example, we can understand of who's speaking with whom at the right time. So in this situation, I'm speaking with Squirro, and that is really the core to make sure that you're speaking to the right person. So with Armacell, this would be a heat map, and not only a heat map, but we can also drill down a geographical map and understand what areas are doing well and what areas need help. Another great feature of this tool is to really identify the sentiment analysis. So hypothetically, Armacell could give Squirro 50 years worth of historical data. And again, going back to the statement about Salesforce, Salesforce systems of record. We're trying to take the systems of record and create sentiment analysis or systems of insight on top of that. So here, if I wanted to boil down into sentiment, I can understand very positive, negative, or positive activity with Armacell real time by just clicking through and to identify the trends more deeply. And you can see here. One more quick little tidbit with this engagement with Armacell. The core is to really make Salesforce the global home for Armacell. So in this situation, we're taking that standalone atmosphere and embedding it on top of Salesforce. So just to give you a flavor, this would be a daily scorecard for Armacell where you can really identify your strengths for the day, your weaknesses, your opportunities, your threats. So you're getting that 360-degree view, that holistic view about either the Armacell's competitors, about their accounts, about the opportunities. And once we understand that, then we can provide logic on top of that and also add more data sources into the equation and make sure that Salesforce is enhanced by creating machine learning actionable insights with Squirro.
Thank you, Connor. And thank you to all the audience for listening and learning also a little bit more about how we have started working with Squirro at Armacell. First of all, Armacell, we make a difference around the world. We're passionate about insulation, mechanical and technical insulation. I'm sure you have not heard about Armacell, although Armacell is everywhere. I mean, we are in hospitals, data centers, multifamily homes, in industrial, commercial, and residential environments, because we're insulating pipes, making sure we are conserving the energy. Such an important task in today's climate environment. So here, also going back a little bit, one step with what Connor said, why Squirro? Right? Imagine you go to the hospital, right? You go to a surgeon and you will have an operation. You want to make sure that that surgeon is precise. Squirro, for me, it's a Swiss company, and there's nothing best than Swiss precision. And you will be opening a lot of information and connecting it and working very closely with a team that you need to trust. And this is certainly a very important aspect why we have chosen Squirro. Not only the tool and the future vision of augmented intelligence, but also all the insight and trends that you can gather based on what Connor just mentioned before. So what are the opportunities that we wanted to address at Armacell? Not just the challenge or problems that we want to solve, but really looking into, we can be a game changer in a, let's say, brick and mortar industry. Implement digitalization, completely different way of working, because we're tapping into data that can take a lot of time to analyze and transform it very quickly into information, but not only information, into insights, valuable insights that can help you to change in the way you make decisions and reinforce any initiative that is connected to your strategy. So I think these are clear aspects that we wanted to embrace by connecting all the different sources of information that we have, making sure that it's a customer-oriented approach. Also important to highlight, in a brick and mortar manufacturing industry, you want to make sure that you have all the tools to listen to what's happening out there so that you can be agile. And out of that, you can distill many benefits and opportunities. What else? Next slide. Is, as I said before, we start tapping into megatrends. What is influencing the insulation industry in terms of regulation, in terms of other competitors, in terms of disruptors that come into industry, right? Blockbuster versus Netflix. This is also helping us to detect what could happen from where we don't see a threat. And with Squirro, we strongly believe that we can detect these first moves in other areas that we might need to offset in terms of risk. And so these are compelling reasons why we decided to define new opportunities that can be opened up thanks to Squirro. So in terms of objectives, I mean, clearly here, I already mentioned, is being customer-centric. You will see that specifically if you're in manufacturing, quite often we come from a heritage where the factories decide what happens because they manufacture, versus really making sure that you listen carefully to the market. So you use Squirro to listen much better. And this helps us to then connect with the production line and then adjust what you need to serve the trends much better. So you have a SWOT analysis. You understand much better how to play the game, how to surface key issues through the SWOT analysis, and making sure that you have impactful initiatives that will position your company ahead of the competition. So These for me are key objectives, the customer centricness, the trend analysis, going beyond what you're doing better in your organization. It's like pushing the boundaries. And by pushing the boundaries, gaining the tranquility and time to do things better. Because if you're reactive and not proactive, you're always in the defensive. And this is exactly what you don't want. And I strongly believe that Squirro tool helps us, and the joint work with them helps us to understand much better what we do, how we do it, and how we can be more impactful. So that's why the deep dive, and that's why this analysis piece that connects with the strategy. So in terms of next steps, I mean, clearly it is the development of Salesforce.com, right? Then, I mean, there are some collateral effects. If you have Salesforce.com, you start understanding what is the information that the Salesforce is inputting so that you can do a better analysis. You can make it more complex by connecting it also with SAP, if that's your ERP, but it can be a different one, so that really all what you do in your organization, every single movement gets condensed through Squirro and portrayed and structured in a way that makes sense and makes emotional sense, right? You will not have numbers. I mean, what Connor mentioned before is you have the sensitivity analysis. You have this feeling. It helps to react much quicker, to decide much quicker, but of course also based on numerical facts. And that's for me, you know, bringing the left side of the brain and the right side of the brain together to be much more powerful in what you want to implement. So these are next steps. And in terms of path to success, clearly, as I said, being ahead of the game, making sure that your sales force is passionate about what they're doing, and also that you, as a leader of an organization, are connected to that front line, right? I mean, we can talk about account management and everything, but also here, the leader is an important component in bringing yourself much closer to the front line and understanding what's happening and connecting with the rest of the organization in terms of the decision-making process. As I said before, being proactive, having the time to crawl, walk, run, right? To test some ideas, to validate the success, and then to be bold when you allocate the resources, right? Quite often, strategically thinking is, where are your big bets? I mean, where do you want to invest, and boldly? We see many times in medieval movies, right? Where do you have in that castle that weak flank that you want to attack? And you will attack it with the full force. If you dilute yourself, you will not win. And here is the same. Where are the flanks that you want to protect? And make sure that you have well-measured decisions. This is part of the path to success. And then finally, where do you detect the successes that you're already having? Because it's also materialized, and making sure that you leverage those successes to be much stronger and not just focusing on the weaknesses, right? It could be a problem, but here we're always talking about the strengths, how to leverage the strengths, how to take advantage of opportunities, and how to be ahead of the competition. And for me, clearly, first, success is fun. So that's the path to success, because you're having fun and you're being successful, and you're also navigating a new era, which is digitalization. And if you do that with Excel file, with just spending hours and hours, you will just get bored, and you will never be neither effective nor efficient in your work. And we know that when that's the case also, your employees walk away. So many things here coming together from a leadership perspective. I hope this has been insightful to all of you. And I would hand back to Connor. And maybe, how do you see the different things that I have just mentioned from your Squirro perspective?
Thank you, Ciro. Just to echo Ciro's words, the path to success is to really enhance and make the Armacell account managers more efficient by making sure we speed up their time in the right way, where they're not just researching hours and hours worth of Excel data. We want to make sure that there's a 360-degree view and everything's on one clean, concise page. We hear from multiple customers that data is hard to compute, it's siloed, it's messy. Our job is to make the Armacell end users data in one clean, concise page where actual insights come real time over and over again. So you can see some of the benefits here. The main benefit is to make sure that the Armacell end users are happy. A great thing about Squirro is that it's an easy to use tool, even though it's very complex software. It's not only an easy to use tool, but another key benefit is that the Armacell end user can start to give feedback over time to the Squirro system to really make the machine learning model more precise over time. So another key benefit is to really improve the client satisfaction and revenues by making sure that all that data is in one clean, concise page. And we'll start to add in more data sources such as SAP, such as Dodge, such as other premium internal and external data sources that come to mind with Armacell. So the goal is to really make sure that the users are speeding up their time to keep understanding their business. Once we understand their business more, then we can start to provide machine learning recommendations real time. So with that being said, we thank you so much for this. We know that Squirro is an enhancement on top of Salesforce. That is why Salesforce invests in us, and we're a strong partner with Salesforce. But to the audience out there, if you have tools such as Salesforce where your teams need to adopt the tool more and to also incorporate more data sources, please book a call with us so we can really identify the scope and to really show you the art of possible. So thank you so much. We'll be in touch. And thank you again to Squirro for his hard work and for his engagement with Armacell. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.